It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
Autumn has turned New England into a rainbow factory, and in Foxborough, Massachusetts, it was a balmy 78 degrees for a perfect sun-splashed Sunday. It was as close to Dolphin weather as could be found anywhere north of the Mason-Dixon. And Coach Don Shula's team was ready to duke it out to see who would be the king, temporarily at least, of the tightly contested and highly competitive AFC Eastern Division. With 3 straight wins and Bob Greasy healthy again, people were asking, how do you beat Miami? It was a question to which the answer was, only the shadow knows. And a thin slice of shadow it is, thrown by Patriot quarterback Steve Grogan, himself just recovered from a hand infection that had severely impaired his effectiveness. But today he's ready for a fillet of dolphin. After a rocky start, Coach Chuck Fairbank's squad has soared to a 5-2 record, the same as Miami's. So today's confrontation looms as the most important to date in the AFC East. The Patriots lead the conference in offense, while the Dolphins are the NFL's 3rd highest scoring team. So footballs will be flying in Foxborough as the Miami Dolphins take on the New England Patriots in the NFL Game of the Week. Bob Greasy wasted no time in probing New England's secondary when on the game's second play, he went up top for 12 to tight end Andre Tillman. But further business ventures in Tillman's direction saw the bottom fall out of the market, and the Dolphin drive ended with a punt. Grogan found the Miami defense not in the giving mood as number 58 linebacker Kim Bocamper dropped Andy Johnson after a stingy 1-yard gain. Things got worse when Grogan tried to pass, and number 25, Tim Foley, intercepted. Now the Dolphins had the impetus, it being too early in the game to drag out old momentum. One of Greasy's favorite ploys for this afternoon would be the swing pass thrown to a player coming out of the backfield. It was unspectacular, but a steady gainer. A short out to wide receiver Nat Moore was good for 11 yards, and the Dolphins had a 1st and 10 at the Patriot 26. Ground action by number 24, Del Williams, gobbled up 8 more yards as the drive sustained itself on offensive line power. With a 2nd down and 2 at the 7, Greasy decided to throw. The pass to money man Nat Moore was incomplete, but Pat's cornerback Ray Claiborne was called for interference on the play, and Miami had the ball 1st and goal at the 1. From there, Del Williams tooled through a tunnel to put the Dolphins on top 7-0. At this juncture, the Patriots were getting nowhere on the ground, but a little rollout pass from Grogan to his other tight end, Don Hasselbeck, was good for a pickup of 17 yards. Success is where you find it, and a good passing attack needs but 2 basic elements, a good throw and a good catch. Again, New England's drive foundered on the rocks of sloppy execution. When Miami took over, they were pushing hard to increase their edge. Greasy just missed an open Nat Moore, who missed a big play by the length of a hand. Undaunted, Greasy continued to pressure the New England secondary until safety Doug Bedoin put an end to it with this interception. Having found success earlier on the short rollout, Grogan again went to his left and connected with Harold Jackson for 11 yards. Then number 44, Don Calhoun, took an inside handoff and moved up the middle for 12 more. But now the Dolphins were ready for Grogan's left side rollouts. Nevertheless, he got it off to the right person because Miami cornerback Norris Thomas was caught trying to get back into position on number 86 Stanley Morgan. It was an obvious interference penalty, and as everyone pointed accusing fingers, Thomas sat in bemused befuddlement at the predicament he had gotten himself into. A repeat shows that defensive end A.J. Dewey, number 77, came within a polyester stretch of pulling Grogan down before any damage was done. With the yellow flags flying, New England was golden with a 1st and goal at the 1. Punching it in was no problem for Andy Johnson, and now the score was tied at 7 with both teams capitalizing on end zone infractions. Now Coach Shula was worried, as well he might have been. For the Patriot defense, like the belt of a fat man of the smorgasbord, was tightening perceptibly. The Dolphins on their next possession were forced to punt. George Roberts' punt was a boomer that traveled 57 yards north, where Stanley Morgan caught it and brought it 20 yards south. Horace Ivory then scooted for 28 yards, but the drive dead-ended when pass incompletions left punting as the only option. With New England ranked 10th in the AFC against the pass, it was obvious to Greasy where his chances were. Unfortunately for him, the Patriots secondary disagreed, especially number 27, Doug Bedoin, who picked off his second pass of the half. The thoroughly mobile Grogan then showed the value of a signal caller who can run as he threaded his way to a 1st down. A repeat shows that the play again started as a left side rollout, presumably with a pass run option. But then Steve saw green pastures and headed for them. Horace Ivory was also fast becoming a force for the Dolphins' front to contend with as he chugged his way for 11 yards to the 1-yard line. From there, it was a short hop up and over for Sam Cunningham, number 39, and New England led 14-7. Time was now of the essence, for the first half had but 2:13 to go. A relatively short kickoff gave Miami good field position. Then Greasy, a wizard of the watch, went to work. A screen to Leroy Harris, number 38, was good for 23 yards. Then it was a 23-yarder to Tillman, whose 8-catch total in this game was just 1 short of his total for all of last season. Greasy capped the masterful 67-yard, 1-minute and 11-second drive with a 9-yard toss to Nat Moore. The drive had been picture perfect. In fact, it had been too good because when Moore scored, there was still 1 minute and 2 seconds to go. Yet again, Grogan in his blocking pocket moved out to the left, where he rifled the ball to Hasselbeck for 24 yards. A long attempt to Harold Jackson was just outside the perimeter of the playing field. With but 20 seconds to go and a 3rd and 10 at the Miami 30, a sideline conference was called, ostensibly to decide just which pass play the Patriots should use in this critical situation. But Grogan surprised everyone with a quarterback draw that was good for 18 yards. A repeat shows near-perfect execution by Grogan's blockers as they nearly drove the Dolphins from Foxborough to Boston, while getting place kicker David Posey into a near-gimme situation. With 6 seconds left, Posey's 29-yard field goal made it 17-14 New England. Now the game was cooking. In the second half, it was going to boil. New England began the second half in possession of the lead 17-14 and the ball. Although they would keep the lead for a time, the ball was another story entirely, as on the Patriots' first snap of the half, Grogan and Cunningham did not complete a smooth exchange, and Miami recovered on the New England 29-yard line. But the Dolphins could only swim downfield 1 yard on 3 plays. Garo Yepremian missed a 45-yard field goal, and Miami had failed to take advantage of a big break. Grogan, who had completed only 4 of 15 passes in the first half, came out hot in the second, and a combination of a good catch by Harold Jackson and a fine run by Andy Johnson had New England driving toward a score. Johnson's catch and carry gained 19 yards, and on the next play, Horace Ivory skirted right end for 10 more as New England reached the Miami 26. But like Miami, New England could advance only slightly farther and missed a makeable field goal. Both teams had blown scoring chances, but on their next series, both teams got serious. After an 18-yard run by Del Williams was cut down to a 3-yard run due to a penalty, Greasy abandoned the ground game and dropped a perfect pass into the hands of Duriel Harris that gained 38 yards to the Patriots' 7-yard line. Greasy's pass had to be right on the mark, and a repeat reveals he has quickly regained his passing touch. His pass to Harris had to be placed between 2 New England defenders, who fell all over each other hard. With a 3rd and goal from the 4, Greasy found tight end Andre Tillman, and the Dolphins were back in front. The man Tillman beat on the play was number 27, strong safety Doug Bedoin, who was nowhere in sight when Greasy went looking for a receiver in the end zone. An interesting battle was taking place between Tillman and Bedoin in this game. The strong safety is often called on to cover the tight end, yet somehow both men were having a good day. Tillman with 5 receptions and Bedoin with 2 interceptions, although Bedoin at this point felt like he was losing the battle. But the Patriots quickly took Bedoin off the hook when they answered Miami right back with a touchdown drive of their own. Once again, it was Grogan's passing that keyed the drive as he teamed with Jackson for 28, then 14 tough yards. From the 1, Horace Ivory burrowed into the end zone, and New England had reclaimed the lead. It had taken New England just 77 seconds to go 64 yards and take a 24-21 lead. As they had done at the end of the first half, the teams had traded lightning-quick scores. And on the first play after the Patriots touchdown, Miami was big play bound again. A 24-yard run by number 24, Delvin Williams, showed he was hot. and on the first play of the fourth quarter tried his arm instead of his legs. With a better pass, Miami might have had 6 points, so Greasy decided he'd better do the passing, Williams the running. But Greasy was unsuccessful too, as Mel Lunsford dropped him for a drive-killing sack. New England did much worse with total offense of -7 yards on their next possession, and when Miami got the ball back, Greasy stuck with a good thing. Delvin Williams, who gained 15 yards on the Dolphins' next 2 plays. Williams, who would gain over 100 yards, made passing easier for Greasy, who torpedoed Tillman again down to the Patriot 26. Then it was back to Williams for 11 yards as Greasy kept New England off balance and marched the Dolphins toward the go-ahead score. You don't have to hit the Patriots with a sledgehammer to make them catch on, however, and when Rod showed trapped tricky Delvin for a 5-yard loss and Greasy misfired on 2 passes, the go-ahead score was gone. The go-ahead score became a tying score instead when Yepremian made a 29-yard field goal. And in the middle of the fourth quarter, the score stood 24-all. If one team had an advantage, it was the Patriots. 5 of their first 7 games were not decided until very late in the fourth quarter. This game was just another in a long line of hairy finishes for New England, a time when superstars shine brightly, and tight end Russ Francis lit up the New England skies. A great run by Francis completed a 29-yard play, and as we shall soon see, his block sprung Horace Ivory, who put New England back on top. Ivory's 23-yard touchdown run put the Patriots ahead 31-24 and put Ivory over 100 yards for the game, neither of which would have happened without a fine block by Francis, number 81, who stuck with Steve Toll, number 56, and put him out of the point of attack. The Patriots had cut through another game situation, but the contest was not over yet. Miami had moved the ball well all day, and with 3 minutes left, there was plenty of time for them to do it again. A sack by pass rush specialist Tony McGee, number 78, that put Greasy down on the Miami 8, stopped the Dolphins as New England's defense came through when it had to. The Patriot offense could not move, however, but thanks to the negative field position that the defense had hung on Miami, Gerald Wilson was kicking from midfield, and he absolutely nailed a coffin corner kick that rolled out on the Dolphin 2-yard line. The Dolphins now found themselves 98 yards away from a tie with 1.5 minutes to go in the game, and the focus of everyone in the stadium centered on Bob Greasy. Unfortunately for Bob, that included 11 men on the Patriot defense, and Greasy and the Dolphins were facing impossible odds. Greasy just barely got off a 13-yarder to Tillman, but it was to be his last completion as New England came after him and never gave Miami a chance. Another sack by McGee drove the Dolphins back to the 7, and from there, the Patriots' 4th sack of the fourth quarter resulted in the clinching points. Richard Bishop's sack resulted in a safety and a 33-24 victory for New England. The defense had put the final stop on Greasy, who with 22 completions tied the Schaefer Stadium record. Patriot quarterback Steve Grogan said he wondered when one of the defenses would take hold. Fortunately for New England, it was the Patriot defense that did, although they certainly waited long enough to do it. And with half the season now complete, the Patriots are finally the sole first-place sitters in the highly competitive and entertaining AFC Eastern Division. The Miami Dolphins in their last 17 meetings. One more loss to the Floridians will